Hey guys, welcome back. I'm David. We're here in my shop, and this is where I build Igor guitars. Igor. It's not freaking Igor. Hey guys, welcome back. I'm David, and we're here in my shop where I build Igor guitars. I just got finished shooting the second round of sealer on that guitar hanging back up over there, which you'll be able to see in a couple weeks. In this video, we're going to dive a little deeper into the neck. So let's get going. So, while my headstock plate, the inlay is drying over there, I'm going to go ahead and bandsaw this thing out and run it through the router to get my neck shaped. By that time I should be able to sand up that inlay, make it nice and smooth, and then I'll glue that back on the headstock here. I'm absolutely thrilled to death that inlay looks like it come out pretty good. I didn't think I could do that. So I've got my center marks, and my truss rod of course is right down the middle. Gotta line up all my marks here. Make sure it's all looking good. Pretty good. Alright, now that I got the template stuck on there, I'm going to bring it on over the bandsaw and do my, cut it out. I'll leave a little bit, 1/16 to 1/8 off of the side of the template. I'll just cut the thing right out here and get ready and take it over to my table router. So here I'm routing it out. I'm routing the neck portion of the neck right now, and I'll pull off the template here next time, and I'll stick it onto the headstock and be able to finish the headstock routing then too. That's a pretty tall router bit, so I can get up partway up the neck, but I gotta re-stick it to the headstock to get that. Before I do that, I like to mark out all my nut, my 1st fret, 12th fret, 22nd fret, and the fretboard. I just like to have all those reference points on there while when I'm doing that. So here, before I actually do the finish routering on the headstock for the shape, I want to glue on the headstock plate. So I'm doing that here, and I've got my little indexing pins, and I think I went through that in the last video. I'm going to clamp that on there. Now that's on there, now I re-stick on the neck template onto the angled part of the headstock, and I'll be able to route that out now too. You can see that's a bearing that's at the bottom that's riding on the template. So now I'm going to get ready to slot my neck, slot my fretboard for frets. And that's a StewMac template I use, and this is going to be a 25-inch scale length, so I'll use that 25-inch edge. My fingerboard is already thickness down to just over 1/4 of an inch, and it's probably 2 3/4 wide or something like that. And I want to flush it up with the one edge of the routing or the sawing template. Then I've just got this little jig that's got marks in it. I run it through. It's a StewMac blade. The thickness of the blade is 20 thousandths in that table saw. I just run it through my little sled there. It slots it up real nice. Now the two ends, I use the nut slotting template, and I cut almost all the way through. And then as you saw there, I took a knife and I knifed off the rest. So the length of that and everything is cut exactly like my template. Now I'm going to stick the template on there and go ahead and bandsaw it out and route it out too. Get it all lined up nice and run it through the bandsaw right quick, and then through the router. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I want to get ready and glue this fingerboard on there now that it's been slotted for frets and cut to the right width and everything. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take a nut and I'm going to flatten it off here. Sometimes these nuts aren't perfectly flat or straight, and I want to use a nut to create my space down here because I want it to fit really tight when it's all said and done. So before I glue that on, I'm going to slip a nut blank in there that's been thinned a little bit and use that to set my space for the fingerboard. I figure I'll thin this one down. They're all supposed to be 3/16, but I'll thin one down so if I take another one, it'll be a little bit too thick for me. And I'll be able to shape it down to exactly the right size to fit in there. So I don't know if you can see that, but it fits really, really well. And I want to keep that tight fit in there when it's all said and done. So anyway, so I'm going to get a couple of these little spring clamps here. I learned a really good way to line up my fingerboards and keep them where I want them. I think from Matt and Chris on Texas Toast Guitars. I'm pretty sure that's where I saw this. They got a lot of good tricks over there. Okay, so my fretboard is super tight on that nut. It's centered where I want it. Almost. So what I've got here is a 3/32 drill bit, which is exactly the same size as this side marker dot material I got from Stu Mack, 3/32. And the interesting thing is that 3/32 will fit under the top of a fret. So I'm going to be able to drill a hole down in that fret slot and go just a tiny bit down into the neck, at both ends, and that's going to be a little indexing pin for me for holding my neck straight, or hold my fingerboard straight while I glue it on. And I go pretty close to the truss rod on this end, so I'm probably going to go right about there. And I don't go too far in. Yeah, she's shifting on me a little bit. Let's see if we can straighten that back out a little. There. And then maybe we'll go right down here somewhere. Now, take my little guy in there, slip him in there, my cutters. My cutters out if I was prepared. This would go a lot better. Cut that joker off right there. Slip another one down here. Cut it off down here. Now, when I go to glue this thing on and clamp it in place, it's going to keep from shifting around on me. I still want to make sure, and I've still got good pressure on my nut, so we're good. So that's where that neck's going to go. Now I need to get ready and glue it up and throw some clamps on it.
Okay, so I'm set back up over here at my granite. I got my two little indexing pins in there. I got a piece of 1/2-inch tape to keep the glue off of the truss rod, or at least keep it away from the truss rod. I got my nut here so I can be sure I'm spaced on there good. And I'm ready to glue it up. I just don't have any glue. Now I got some glue too. The beauty of working in a tiny little shop is nothing's too far away. Like always, I don't put too much glue on. I try to put enough without going overboard. I don't know if I said it already, but I glue this up on a piece of granite. The granite is really, really flat. And everything you can do to keep this neck flat as you're going is going to help you in the end. And I'm just spreading, trying to keep it even and uniform. Okay, pull my tape off. Stick that over there. Drop my nut in place. Hopefully find my indexing pins here pretty easy. There's that one. And there is that one. Right up against my nut, nice. Also got this little board here on the end. I don't know if it's almost out of the camera, but I'm going to just keep a little bit of pressure towards that so I keep that nut space. Just push that way just a little. So this will help. I mean, I checked the neck before I did this, and I had run it through the joiner a couple times the other day, so it's nice and flat. My fingerboard was nice and flat, but this is going to help when you glue it together. That glue is going to help hold it exactly where you want it. Let me check my nut one more time. That looks good too. So that's it. Now we'll let it dry for a little bit. Well, thanks for watching. Another exciting episode of eWar Guitars. I just want to say thanks to all those that have subscribed to my channel. I really appreciate the likes and the nice comments I'm getting. If you haven't, God. Well, there we go. Another exciting episode of eWar Guitars. You guys can't possibly imagine how I struggle with these little talking things at the beginning and at the end. And but I wanted to do it mostly to say thanks to those that have subscribed to my channel and for the nice comments and the likes I get too. So it's really appreciated. It really is. If this is your first time watching one of my videos, I hope you liked it. If you did, how about you give me a like and subscribe? And we will see you all in the next one. I'll be bringing out another video to you every Thursday. See you all soon.